Hi guys, how are you? First things first, just want to say yesterday you guys did a fantastic job in class. Okay, everyone was participating and it really was awesome to see all of you hard at work. um, let's keep that momentum up. If you continue with this pace, you guys are going to be amazing by the end of the marking period, and we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Okay, so keep up the good work. All right, so today, let's kind of go over what we're going to be working on. Okay, so let's go over. So, first things first, we always start off with our EQ. Our EQ is how did geography help shape early Chinese culture? Everything that we're going to be talking about today and yesterday and all this first section of the unit is always going to go back to this EQ. The topic that we're going to be talking about are these legendary rulers, and there's three of them. Okay, there's Shen Nong, Wang Di, and then Yu the Great. Okay, and then there is some classwork that we're going to be working on, and you're going to be answering that on Nearpod. Okay, so make sure you use this video to coincide with what's on Google Classroom. So what I'm looking for is a one paragraph, 5 to 6 sentence answer. It's going to be worth 15 points. And the question that I'm asking you right now is, okay, what can legends tell us about Chinese culture? Okay, so away we go. All right, so let's just kind of review a little bit and then I will start with something new. All right, so when we think about the geography of China, there's a lot of different things going on. All right, we have the rivers that are running east to west. We have our Yellow River, we have our Yangtze River, we have the Himalayas in the west, we have the desert in the central part of China, and then on the eastern part we have the start of those rivers. We have coastlines, we have little mountains. Okay, so the geographic features that Chinese has is it spans everything. And because there's so many different geographic features, it kind of hurts the civilizations. All right, because they form natural barriers. You know, you're either on one side of the mountain or on the other side of the mountain. Okay, you're either on one side of the river or the other side of the river. And because all these geographic features are so diverse and so different from each other, it actually ends up hurting them a little bit. They don't realize that there are other Chinese groups forming during this time period, and they actually end up feeling really isolated. It's not until they start traveling around a little bit that they're like, oh, there's more of us on this land? Wow. Okay, now what you need to understand is the fact of the matter is because these geographic features are isolating them, you're also starting to see different dialects coming up. Okay, and we discussed yesterday about, Cantonese and Mandarin and all these different dialects. It's kind of like how we have our country when I talked about it yesterday with you, how, you have the Boston accent, the pak the ka, you have that. Then you have, something more of a New York accent. So you're dealing with different dialects and or accents, kind of like what we have, because the regions are so different and they're forming differently. Okay, but the fact of the matter is they're all forming their civilizations near water sources. Okay, and those two water sources are the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. Okay, remember the rivers are vital to civilizations growing because of all the good things they provide. Okay, rivers provide opportunities to fish and to bathe and to do all those things that you desperately need to live, but it also provides a river highway for you to transport those goods down the road. Okay, but as we know, with all the civilizations we've talked about, the river provides really good things, and then it also does some really bad things. Okay, it can make really fertile soil for your crops, but then it can flood and destroy those crops and destroy towns and kill a lot of people. Okay, I mean, the fact of the matter is, when the flooding time came, they gave it the moniker China's Sorrow. Okay, I mean, so it obviously had to have flooded enough for it to be given a specific name. All right, now what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be talking about the legendary rulers that came out during this early time period of China. Okay. And these legendary rulers, they really made an impact on China. And they contributed a lot, a very lot. Okay. So the first one we're going to be talking about is Shen Nong. Now, Shen Nong was really vital to China because he introduced agriculture to China. Okay. Now, whatever's going on in the other civilizations that we talked about, someone has to bring agriculture into it. And Shen Nong is the one who did that. Not only did he bring agriculture into it, he also was really big into herbs and growing things for purposes of healing people. He also was really, really like fascinated with finding out all these different growths and which ones are poisonous that we should stay away from and which ones can help people. He's the one who really, really, really cemented the idea of Chinese herbal medicine. So if you ever go to China today, that's something that's very vital to their culture is this herbal medicine. Oh, you have a cold? Here, let me give you a mixture of herbs and you drink it as a tea. So he was really vital with that specific part of obviously trade because he introduced agriculture, but also kind of this wellness path that Chinese still are on even today. Okay, so that's Shen Nong. Now, Wang Di, he is really vital because he introduced Chinese writing. Yeah, Chinese writing. Okay, so I know none of you are in Mandarin this year, but in the past, I'm sure Mrs. San introduced a little bit of Mandarin characters. Well, he's the one who introduced that. He also was really important for introducing the bow and arrow and the idea of using a wheeled cart to transport stuff. So instead of having animals carrying all your goods, he introduced that. Okay, so he introduced weapons and he introduced the wheeled cart. Again, those are three really big things: Chinese writing, the cart, bow and arrow. So with each ruler during this early time period, they're leaving an impact on Chinese culture. They're leaving an impact on everyday life. Okay. Now, Yu the Great is a little different. He's probably the most famous out of the three people that we're going to be talking today. And the reason why he's the most important is he kind of gets wrapped up in a lot of the stories that were happening during this time period. So if we were to look at ancient Chinese stories, Yu is in there all the time because he was this kind of bigger than life person. So while he was ruling, China was experiencing devastating floods. Devastating, okay? The amount of flooding and raining that was occurring during his rule was at just such an obscene amount that he decided that he was going to kind of use China's sorrow to kind of cement his place in Chinese culture. And what he did was, while all this flooding was going on, him and the people that were a part of his team, they started to dig canals that would lead the floodwaters to sea. Okay, so instead of the flooding occurring on the Yellow River or the Yangtze River and all of those civilizations that are popping up on the riverbed, what he did was he built canals that brought it back to the sea, and the towns would be saved. Okay, but here's the realistic part about this. There's no real proof that he did this. Okay, it only shows up in these tales that people have written after the fact about him. So he could have done this, but again, this was so far in history that there's no real evidence that actually proves that he did it. But the fact of the matter is, he's found in these Chinese stories. And all the other people are found in these Chinese stories. Shen Nong, Wang Di are all found in these Chinese stories about all the great things that they did. Okay, and they could have made these things, or maybe they didn't, but the fact of the matter is they're found in so many different stories that there has to be an evidence of truth to some of these actions. Okay, but if you think about it, when you think about, agriculture, you're going to automatically think of Shen Nong. Oh, well, Shen Nong, he introduced that. Or Wang Di, he introduced writing. Okay. So these three rulers are always going to be tied with Chinese beliefs and Chinese values. Okay, why are Chinese people so tied to herbal medicine? Well, because Shen Nong is the one who did that. Okay, so if anything, the Chinese need something to believe in, and they need someone to believe in as to where these things came about. And the stories point to these three people. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is you're going to be answering, I'm going to go back to this. You're going to be answering in one paragraph, what can legends tell us about Chinese culture? Okay, and I just discussed those three mythical men and the things they did to help cement Chinese culture and the fact that they were found in many, many, many different stories. Okay, so you're going to be answering that on Nearpod. And if you have any questions, you can always ask me. So I hope you guys have a great day. Again, it was awesome to see all of you yesterday. And I hope you stay happy and healthy. And as always, slow your roll, stay in your lane. Bye, guys.